I never thought my family would be the biggest problem in my marriage. I'm 34M, happily married to my wife Hannah, 32 fell for 3 years now. We have a good life together, stable jobs, a home we've made our own, plans for the future, everything should be perfect. But my family? They act like she doesn't even exist. It all comes down to Lisa, 33 fell. My ex, Lisa and I dated for 10 years, starting in high school. We broke up in our mid-20s. Not because of anything dramatic, but because we had different ideas about the future. It was mutual. No cheating, no betrayal, just two people growing apart. We both moved on, or at least I thought we did. The problem is, my family never moved on. I knew my parents were close with Lisa. She was around for a decade after all. My mom treated her like the daughter she never had. My dad liked her because she was always over at our house, helping out, spending holidays with us. Even after we broke up, they stayed in touch. At first, I thought it was just the occasional check-in, maybe a Merry Christmas text. I figured it was harmless. Lisa was a good person, and if they still wanted to be friendly with her, I didn't see the harm in it. But then little things started to stand out. Lisa was invited to every major family gathering, birthdays, barbecues, even extended family events. If my wife and I couldn't make it to Thanksgiving, Lisa would be there. If my parents planned a trip, Lisa would somehow be involved. She was part of family group chats. Not just the casual ones, the main ones. Hannah, my wife. She wasn't even added. At first I chalked it up to habit. My parents had known Lisa for so long. Maybe they just saw her as family. But then it got weirder. Lisa didn't just stay connected. She acted like nothing had changed. She called my mom mom. She called my dad dad. My parents never corrected her. One time, Hannah and I visited for my dad's birthday. While we were there, my mom got a phone call. She answered it with a huge smile and said, "Hey sweetheart." Then she left the room to talk. I asked my sister who it was. "Lisa," she said, like it was obvious. Mom talks to her all the time. Hannah caught my eye, and I could tell she felt weird about it. I did too. That was the moment I started paying attention. The passive-aggressive comments started soon after. My mom would say things like, "Lisa always helped me in the kitchen." My dad would tell stories about Lisa like she was still part of the family, completely ignoring the fact that my wife was sitting right there. My sister told Hannah, "Lisa always got along so well with our family. It was always subtle, but it was always there." Then came the toast. We were at a family gathering, one of the few we actually attended, since Hannah was starting to feel uncomfortable going. My mom stood up with a glass of wine, smiling. She started thanking everyone for being there. Then she turned to Lisa, and to Lisa she said, raising her glass, "The daughter we never had." Everyone laughed. Everyone, like it was some kind of inside joke. Hannah didn't laugh. Neither did I. She excused herself to the bathroom. I followed a few minutes later, finding her standing in the hallway, hands clenched. We left early that night. I confronted my parents the next day. I told them it was disrespectful to Hannah, that she was my wife now, and they needed to stop treating Lisa like she still had a place in my life. My mom looked confused. My dad just shrugged. "Lisa is family," my mom said, like it was the most obvious thing in the world. I told her Hannah was my family. My sister jumped in, rolling her eyes. "Why does it matter? Lisa's been around forever. It's not like you guys ended on bad terms." That was the problem. Because we had broken up on good terms. They acted like it didn't count. Like I had married the wrong person. Lisa, of course, played the victim. "I don't want to cause problems," she said when I texted her about it. "I love your family, but if you want me to step back, I will." But she didn't. 2 weeks later, my cousin mentioned that Lisa had spent the weekend with my parents. Hannah and I hadn't even been invited. The next time I called my mom, she sounded irritated. "You weren't coming anyway," she said. Why does it matter? It mattered because Lisa was not their family. It mattered because Hannah was. The final straw came when my mom straight up asked me if I was sure I had married the right person. Not in a joking way. Not in a passing comment. She meant it. She sat across from me, arms crossed, and said, "I'm just saying, Lisa always understood our family. She fit. Maybe you rushed into things with Hannah." That was it. That was the moment I realized they were never going to accept my wife. They still saw Lisa as my real partner. Hannah, she was just some outsider. I went home and told Hannah everything. She didn't even look surprised. "I don't think they'll ever accept me," she said quietly. "I don't think they even want to." She was right. I had spent years brushing it off, trying to convince myself that my family would come around. They wouldn't. It was time to set boundaries, and I knew they wouldn't take it well. The night after my mom asked if I had married the right person, I called her. I laid it out clearly. Hannah is my wife. She is my family. This Lisa obsession needs to stop. Silence. Then confusion. My mom didn't understand why I was making such a big deal out of this. Lisa had always been family. She had been through everything with them. When my dad had surgery, Lisa was there. When my mom lost her job for a few months, Lisa helped out. When my sister needed advice about college, Lisa gave it. Hannah hasn't been around long enough, my mom said. She didn't say it outright, but the message was clear. Lisa had earned her place in the family. Hannah? Not yet. I pointed out that Hannah wasn't being given a chance, that she wasn't even included in basic family things. My sister jumped in. Lisa was here first. You can't expect us to just drop her because you moved on. That's when I realized they weren't just close with Lisa, they saw her as permanent. My marriage didn't change that. That night, Hannah sat on the couch, scrolling through her phone, completely checked out. I told her about the call, about how my mom thought Lisa had earned her place, and Hannah hadn't. Hannah put her phone down. Do you even see it? She asked. I don't belong in your family. I never will. It wasn't the first time she had said something like that, but this time it felt final. A few days later, Lisa messaged me. She had heard about the conversation. She didn't want to cause drama. She felt terrible that Hannah felt uncomfortable, but she also didn't want to be cut off from the only family she had left. I stared at the message. The only family she had left. Lisa had actual family. Parents, a brother, cousins. She wasn't alone, but my parents had let her embed herself so deeply that she believed they were hers. Then came the next hit. I got a text from my cousin. Are you coming to the cookout on Saturday? What cookout? That's how I found out. My family had planned a gathering, a big one. Extended family. Old family friends. All of them. They didn't invite me. They didn't invite Hannah. But Lisa was going. I sat there, staring at my phone. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't just forgetting to send an invite. This was deliberate. I called my mom again. She was surprised I was upset. You weren't coming anyway, she said. Why does it matter? It mattered because they had chosen Lisa. It mattered because they were excluding my wife. I didn't hold back this time. I told them they either respected my wife or I was done. That's when it flipped. Why are you choosing a woman over your own family? My mom snapped. My dad, who never got involved in these things, finally spoke up. You're the one making this difficult. Lisa has never been a problem. Hannah is. That was it. That was the moment I knew. They had never seen Hannah as part of the family. They never would. When I told Hannah about the cookout, she didn't get mad. She didn't cry. She just nodded, got up, and walked to our bedroom. The door shut. I stood there for a long time before finally following. She was sitting on the bed, staring at the wall. I don't think I can do this, she finally said. I don't think I can spend the rest of my life feeling like an outsider in my own family. That hit harder than anything my parents had said. That night, I made a decision. I texted my mom. We need space. Her reply came fast. You'll regret this. Then silence. No texts. No calls. They vanished. Lisa reached out the next day. She was sorry for how things had turned out, but even in her apology there was an underlying assumption, one I'd overlooked before. She still saw herself as part of my family's inner circle, not as an outsider. Maybe she had never actively tried to replace Hannah, but she also never questioned why my parents kept her so close. And now that it was unraveling, she wanted to make sure she still had a place. I read the message twice. She still didn't get it. She wasn't the victim here. Days turned into weeks. No one reached out. No one checked in. Not my mom. Not my dad. Not my sister. They thought I would come crawling back, that I would realize I needed them. But for the first time, I saw it clearly. They didn't care about me. They cared about the idea of me. The version of me that was still with Lisa. The version of me that fit into their perfect little family fantasy. Not the man who had moved on. Not the husband who chose his wife. One night, Hannah sat next to me on the couch. Her knees pulled up to her chest. Do you regret it? She asked. I didn't even have to think about it. No. Because for the first time I knew exactly where I stood. It had been weeks since I told my family we needed space. No calls, no texts, nothing. Lisa was the only one who still reached out, sending the occasional check-in message. Always polite, always acting like she was stuck in the middle. Then, out of nowhere, I got a message from my cousin. I thought you should know, Lisa's been meeting up with your mom. They've been talking about you, about your marriage. I reread the text 3 times. Lisa was still inserting herself into my family, still discussing my marriage like she had any right to. When I told Hannah, she didn't even look surprised. She pulled out her phone, scrolled for a second, then held it up. Lisa's Instagram, a picture of her at a restaurant, sitting across from my mom. The caption, some bonds can't be broken hours later. My mom's name popped up on my phone. I let it go to voicemail. A few minutes later, a long text came through. She was worried about me. Lisa had told her I seemed distant. She was convinced I was being pressured by Hannah, and then the part that made my stomach drop. I just know you aren't happy. Lisa was your soulmate. We all saw it. We just want you to open your eyes before it's too late. That night, Lisa messaged me. A long, heartfelt text. She missed having me in her life. She hated seeing me so distant from my family. She wished things could be like before. And then the worst part, maybe we were always meant to be. That was it. I sent one message back off, and I blocked her. The next morning, Hannah sat across from me at the kitchen table, staring at her coffee. She didn't look angry, just tired. She finally spoke. How long do you think this will last? I didn't answer. How long before they stop trying to push her back into your life? I had no answer for that either. A few days later, I got a text from an old friend. Hey, Lisa reached out. She's been asking how you're doing. Should I say anything? That was all it took to confirm it. Lisa wasn't done inserting herself into my life. Instead of confronting me directly, she was using people around me to keep tabs, testing if I'd let her back in. I walked past her. She followed. She just wanted to talk. Just for a second. I stopped walking. This is harassment, I said. You need to leave. She froze, like she never expected me to actually shut it down. I turned and walked inside. She didn't follow, but when I glanced at the security cameras later, she stood outside for 20 minutes before finally leaving. That night, my mom called. This time I picked up. She was crying. I was breaking the family apart over a mistake. Did I even know what I was doing? Did I even understand how much pain I was causing? I told her the only mistake was them refusing to accept my wife. That's when my dad's voice cut in. You're ungrateful. My dad never got involved in these things, but now his voice was cold. We gave you everything. And this is how you repay us, abandoning the people who love you most. I hung up. A week later I got another text from my cousin. Did you hear about the family trip? I hadn't, because I wasn't invited, but Lisa was. I sat there staring at my phone. That was it. That was all the proof I needed. They didn't see Hannah as my wife. To them, Lisa was still the one who should be there. That night, Hannah was quiet. She didn't ask what was wrong. She didn't ask what happened. I sat down next to her and said 2 words. We're done. And I meant it. I blocked my parents, my sister, Lisa, every single person who had tried to push her back into my life. No more explanations. No more second chances. They had made their choice. Now I was making mine. The fallout was instant. Texts from random numbers, relatives reaching out, asking what was going on, asking why I was letting Hannah control me. My parents, silent, because they thought I would break. They thought I would come crawling back. But I didn't. And for the first time I felt free. Going no contact didn't mean peace. At first it was silence. No calls. No messages. No attempts from my parents or sister. Then the numbers started showing up. Unknown callers. Random texts. Emails from new addresses. Blocked, but not forgotten. It started small. A message from a random number. We need to talk. Then another. Don't let her ruin everything. No name. No details. But it was obvious who it was from. Then came the letter. I got to work one morning, and my receptionist handed me an envelope. No return address. Just my name, handwritten. Inside, a letter from Lisa. She understood why I was upset. She never meant to come between me and my wife. She just hoped I wouldn't throw away the people who loved me. I'll always be here, no matter what. That night, I found Hannah sitting on the couch, scrolling through her phone. I handed her the letter. She read it. Then she laughed. A short, bitter laugh. She folded the letter neatly, walked to the kitchen, and dropped it in the trash. 2 days later, another message came in. This time from my dad, a new number. They were planning a family gathering, not a holiday, not a birthday, just a gathering. A chance to talk some sense into me. Hannah's patience was gone. She was done with the texts. Done with the manipulation. She looked at me. Do you want to go? I hesitated. Not because I wanted to see them, but because I wanted to shut this down for good. I told her we'd go. Together. She grabbed her coat. The moment we walked into my parents' house, I knew this wasn't a conversation. This was an ambush. Lisa was already there, sitting on the couch, legs crossed, like she belonged. My mom was near her, eyes red like she'd been crying. My dad stood by the fireplace, arms crossed. My sister was on the love seat, shaking her head. The entire family, waiting for me. My mom started crying the second I stepped in. You used to be happy. She changed you. She kept repeating it, over and over, like a chant. My dad's voice was cold. Lisa is family. Hannah never will be. My sister shook her head. We just want the old you back. Lisa, she sat there, quiet, just watching. Then she sighed. I would never want to come between your marriage, she said. But why are you throwing us away? Hannah snapped. She wasn't the quiet, patient wife anymore. You're the ones destroying this family, she told them. Not me. Not him. You. They didn't listen. They didn't care. Because my mom stood up, wiped her tears, and made it clear. You have two choices. Reconnect with Lisa, or we will never accept Hannah. I stood up. I looked at them, at my dad's crossed arms, at my mom's shaking shoulders, at my sister's disapproving glare. Then I said it. Then you'll never see me again. Lisa's eyes widened, and then her final move. She grabbed my hand. Just think about what you're doing. I ripped my hand away. I didn't think. I knew. I turned, grabbed Hannah's hand, and walked out. My mom's voice followed me. Don't do this. Don't walk away. But I didn't look back. That night, I blocked them. Every number, every email, every social media account. I changed my number, deleted my old email. They were dead to me. Blocking them didn't stop them. At first, it seemed like it had. No calls, no texts, just silence. But then, little things started happening. A mutual friend casually mentioned my mom had asked about me. An email popped up from an old family member, just checking in. Then, the numbers started. Unknown callers, random texts, emails from new addresses. A slow, creeping persistence. They weren't done. Hey man, I just wanted to check in. I heard some stuff about you and Hannah. Are you okay? I asked what they were talking about. Your mom's been telling people Hannah forced you to cut them off, that she's controlling, that you're not allowed to talk to anyone. I laughed. A short, bitter laugh. They weren't even being subtle. A few days later, a coworker stopped me in the break room. Dude, your uncle called HR. I froze. Apparently, my uncle, who I barely even spoke to, had called my job, told them I was in a toxic relationship, that my wife was abusive, and had isolated me from my family. HR dismissed it immediately, but I could see the way people looked at me after that, like they were waiting for me to crack, like they believed there was some truth to it. Then, Lisa made her move. A cryptic Facebook post. Losing someone you love is hard, but sometimes, you just have to hope they find their way back. No name, no details, just vague enough to let people assume, and they did. Her comments were filled with sympathy. People telling her they hoped he realized what he lost, that some women just don't understand the value of real love. My sister liked the post. My mom commented a heart emoji. Then came the emergency. Another unknown number. Another voicemail. It was my mom. Her voice was weak, shaky, like she had been crying. I just wanted you to know. I'm not doing well. The stress of losing you has made me so sick. I don't know how much longer I can do this. Please, just come home. A full-on guilt trip. Weaponizing her own health to get me to break. I deleted the voicemail. A week later, my dad's final move arrived in the mail. A handwritten letter. No greeting, no warmth, just straight to the point. You are no longer my son. He wrote that he was disowning me, that I had let a woman destroy our family, that I would regret this for the rest of my life. I read it twice. Then I set it down. I had expected anger, I had expected manipulation, but this was final. They weren't trying to fix things. They weren't trying to meet me halfway. They were making it clear, accept Lisa, or you're dead to us. I chose Hannah. That night, I found her sitting on the bed, knees pulled up to her chest. She didn't look angry. She didn't even look sad, just exhausted. She didn't ask about the letter. She didn't need to. Instead, she whispered, "How much longer do we have to fight for them to accept me?" I sat next to her. "We don't," I said. "We're done." A few days later, the irony hit me. A mutual friend mentioned something in passing. Lisa was engaged. Lisa had been engaged for a while, but she kept it quiet. At first, she still showed up at family events, still responded to my mother's texts like nothing had changed. But then gradually she started pulling away, canceling last minute, taking longer to reply, skipping a few gatherings. My parents didn't seem to notice, or maybe they refused to acknowledge it, until the day she finally broke the news. I laughed, because for all their obsession, for all their delusions, Lisa was moving on, but they were still clinging to a fantasy that never existed. And that was their problem, not mine. The text came out of nowhere. It was from my sister. "Lisa's engaged." No explanation, no follow-up, just a statement. I stared at the screen for a long time before showing Hannah. She read it, then shrugged. "Makes sense. She's moving on. That should have been the end of it." It wasn't. Lisa was engaged, but to my parents, nothing changed. She was still invited to family events, still included in group chats, still treated like she was part of the family. My mom still posted old photos of her, still talked about her like she was the daughter they never had. Lisa's fiancé, not mentioned. It was like he didn't even exist. A month later, another text from my sister. "Mom's losing it." Apparently, Lisa had not invited my parents to her wedding. My mom freaked. She left voicemail after voicemail, begging Lisa to reconsider, saying we're your family. Lisa didn't respond. That's when my mom snapped. She rewrote history. At first, my parents refused to believe it. They made excuses. Lisa must be busy. Wedding planning is overwhelming. But when she stopped answering their calls and turned down an invitation to a family dinner, the shift happened fast. The same woman they worshipped was suddenly selfish, ungrateful, a traitor. The woman they once called their daughter was now an outsider, just like Hannah had always been. The same woman they worshipped for years. Now she had betrayed the family. A week later I got an email. Lisa, a long apology. She admitted she should have stepped back sooner, that she never meant to make things harder, that she let my family use her as a replacement for my wife. I didn't respond. I deleted it. Then, my mom's breakdown. My sister sent me a video. My mom crying. I lost both my children. I don't have anyone left. It was theater. A performance. Because my dad, the man who once called me ungrateful, silent. For the first time he had nothing to say. That night, Hannah sat next to me, scrolling through her phone. She looked lighter, like a weight had been lifted. She finally spoke. They never cared about Lisa. She was right. My parents never saw Lisa as a person. She was just their idealized version of my wife. A placeholder. And now they had nothing. For the first time I felt nothing. No guilt, no regret, no second guessing. They chose their delusions. And I chose my wife. Months passed. No calls, no texts, no new fake numbers. Silence. Then, out of nowhere, a message from my sister. Mom and Dad are losing it. They want to talk. That was it. No apology. No explanation. Just a vague attempt at pulling me back in. A few days later, another message. This time from my mom. It wasn't long, just a half-hearted apology. She was sorry for how things had turned out. Sorry for the misunderstandings, but not once did she mention Hannah. Not once did she acknowledge my wife. It was like she thought I'd just reset everything if she said the right words. Like she still believed I'd eventually come back. I sent one message back. Hannah is my family. You are not. Then I blocked her. Blocked my sister. Blocked everyone left who still thought they could change my mind. And just like that, it was over. The silence was different this time. No more guilt. No more waiting for another attempt. They finally realized I was done. Lisa's wedding came and went. My parents weren't there. She never reached out to them again. The woman they had once idolized had moved on without them. They had no one left to cling to. One night, Hannah and I sat outside, watching the sunset. She leaned her head on my shoulder and let out a breath. For the first time, she looked at peace. She finally felt like she belonged, and me? I finally felt free. We started our own family. A life without manipulation, without ultimatums, without people who only loved their version of me. A life where my wife was seen, respected, and valued. No more looking back. No more what-ifs. Just us. Years passed. No messages. No unexpected phone calls. No unknown numbers trying to bait me back. Just silence. Hannah and I built a life free from the chaos. Free from the manipulation. Free from the people who never truly accepted her. We moved to a new city. Bought a home. Built a family of our own. And for the first time, I forgot about them. Until the email came. It was from my dad. No subject line. No dramatic introduction. But it wasn't entirely unexpected. A few times over the last year, my sister had hinted that he wasn't as sure as he pretended to be. He had asked about me, about Hannah, but never directly. And now, finally he was saying it himself. I hope you'll read this. Against my better judgment, I did. It wasn't long, just a short, blunt confession. We were wrong. We didn't see what we were doing at the time. I just wanted you to know, in case you ever wondered. And then the last part. I know it's too late now. There was no request to meet. No plea to reconnect, just regret. I sat there, staring at the screen. I could have responded. I could have asked why it took this long. I could have asked if my mother felt the same. If my sister ever regretted anything. But I didn't. I closed the email, and I never opened it again. That night, Hannah sat beside me, scrolling through her phone, humming softly. She didn't ask about the email. She didn't need to. Because she knew. There was nothing left to say. I never wrote back. Never asked for more. Never checked if they sent another message. Because for the first time, I realized I never needed their approval. Never needed their validation. Never needed them at all. All I ever needed was this life. The one I built with my family. With Hannah. And that was all that mattered. Years passed. No messages. No unexpected phone calls. No unknown numbers. Trying to bait me back. Just silence. Hannah and I built a life free from the chaos. Free from the manipulation. Free from the people who never truly accepted her. We moved to a new city. Bought a home. Built a family of our own. And for the first time, I forgot about them. Until the email came. It was from my dad. No subject line. No dramatic introduction. Just one sentence. I hope you'll read this. Against my better judgment, I did. It wasn't long. Just a short, blunt confession. We were wrong. We didn't see what we were doing at the time. I just wanted you to know, in case you ever wondered. And then the last part. I know it's too late now. There was no request to meet. No plea to reconnect. Just regret. I sat there staring at the screen. I could have responded. I could have asked why it took this long. I could have asked if my mother felt the same. If my sister ever regretted anything. But I didn't. I closed the email, and I never opened it again. That night, Hannah sat beside me, scrolling through her phone, humming softly. She didn't ask about the email. She didn't need to, because she knew. There was nothing left to say. I never wrote back. Never asked for more. Never checked if they sent another message. Because for the first time, I realized I never needed their approval. Never needed their validation. Never needed them at all. All I ever needed was this life. The one I built with my family. With Hannah. And that was all that mattered.